You might ask, how is it that if we believe that God directs our lives, and yet He is hidden in this story, how do things work out like they do? The holiday of Purim seems to many to be just a day of revelry, of masquerades, of drink, but it's so much more than that. And one of our great American congregational rabbis of the last 50 years, Rabbi Emanuel Feldman, stated it beautifully when he said that Purim is the holiday in hiding. And he writes about this in his seminal work, The Shul Without a Clock, which I recommend to every congregational rabbi to read. On Purim, we have to probe beneath the surface to find the spiritual dimension that lies underneath. The masquerading underscores the fact that we must probe beneath the surface to find the hidden hand of God in everything that we do, and especially in this story. The theme of concealment is found in the very name of Esther. Let's not forget that. Take Esther herself. No one except Mordechai knows who she really is. Even the king is kept in the dark. As it says in the 2nd chapter of the book, Esther did not reveal her origins. And this is the theme of the day. Everything is concealed. And if we were to go back in history to the original generations from which Mordechai and Esther came, we can see that it is a lineage of hiddenness. Mordechai and Esther are descendants of our matriarch Rachel. Rachel, the mother of Joseph, is the very essence of concealment and hiddenness. When her sister Leah is substituted for her in marriage to her beloved Jacob, why does Rachel not cry out? Because to do so would have meant humiliating her, and she did not want to do that. Rachel knows how to conceal things, including her bitter disappointment. And Rachel's son Joseph is a master of concealment. He only reveals himself to his brothers who had sold him into slavery in Egypt after 22 years, when they had come down begging for food and going back to their father Jacob. And when they see him for the first time, they fail to recognize him because he is concealed in different clothes. And finally, let's remember that Mordechai is described in the book of Esther as a descendant of King Saul. King Saul, when he was approached by the prophet Samuel to be king, hid among the vessels, so it says in the Bible. He did not wish to become king. He wished to conceal himself. I think it's fitting that Esther and Mordechai, descendants of the same lineage, should go about their saving way in a concealed and hidden manner. And as a matter of fact, in our own lives, what is the best way to do a good deed? Anonymously. The rabbis say the highest praise comes to he or she who gives without wishing his name to go forward. That is the essence of charity and good behavior. And to underscore the hiddenness of God, the entire story seems to be one of chance. It just happens that Vashti, the queen, decides to flounce out in a royal rage. The king just happens to get rid of her and search for a new queen. Mordechai just happens to be in the right place at the right time to hear two of the king's courtiers planning to assassinate him, which he tells to Esther, and it is recorded in the royal chronicles. And one night, the king just happens not to be able to sleep and calls for those chronicles to be read to him and finds that it is Mordechai who has saved him. And when does that revelation in a sleepless night occur? Just before Haman comes into the king's palace to ask him to finally seal the decree against the Jews. And even the date on which Haman's plan is to be carried out is determined by a chance selection. The word Pur, meaning casting lots, gives its name to the holiday, Purim. All these echoes of randomness and chance suggest anything but the guiding hand of God. Think about the other great holiday of rabbinic times, Chanukah. There we have a jar of oil, which is only enough to burn for one day. And yet, as we all know, it burned for 8 days, hence the 8-day holiday of Chanukah. That is an open and revealed miracle for everyone to see. But the Purim miracle, where the entire Jewish community is saved, that is surely a hidden miracle. The interceding hand of God is invisible. It could have been a coincidence. But now we begin to understand the Purim story, the masks, the cover-up. The entire deliverance of the Jewish people is masked, hidden behind a costume, concealed behind a mask. So to once again use Rabbi Feldman's definition, Purim is the holiday in hiding, but its message need not be concealed from us.
Mishloach manot, sending special foods to family and to friends.
Purim is also a day when we reach out to embrace our fellow Jews. We don't discriminate between religious or non-religious. After all, Haman did not discriminate among us. He wanted to destroy all the Jewish people, regardless of their observance.
And now we're on to Delis Bakery, where we'll see how Oznei Haman, or Hamantaschen, are made for the Purim holiday.